What up? What up, good people? Happy Monday night. It is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. It's another day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Listen, tonight is gonna be amazing. I need you guys to hit the share button, the like button, pass this on to a brother, pass this on to someone in your sphere of influence that you love, that you care about, because this is going to be life-changing tonight. And I'm excited to have all of the fellas here, all of the men here tonight to share in my first all men summit that I've done ever. So this is monumental for me. And I want to say thank you to all of you guys who will join the live tonight, who will share, who will comment, who will engage. Thank you to all of our amazing men who have said yes to coming on to sharing. So we excited about it. If you tapped in with us last month, when we did Beauty Beyond the Bruises in May, then you know that it continues to get better and better and better every time. And so I'm excited about it. So, you know, June is Men's Mental Health Month. And so in honor of celebrating men, and not just June, because if you're a man every day of the year, 365 days a year, right? Every month you're a man. So we just want to take the time out to honor and specifically put a spotlight on the strength, the stamina, the sacrifices that men make every single day for themselves and for their families. And so to all of the men out there, thank you so much for what you do. We appreciate you. We love you. Maybe you don't hear that enough from the people that's in your immediate sphere of influence, but we absolutely do love you, and we absolutely adore you guys, and thank you for all that you do. So tap in. I see a couple people in. So tell me what city and state you're tuning in from. What speaker are you here to support tonight? Are you just coming to get all the good information from all the speakers tonight? I'm going to share a quick video with you guys because I think it really sums up beauty. Well, I won't say sums up, but it kind of gives a caveat to Beauty Beyond the Bruises, being that this is an all-male summit tonight. Last month, Tyrone was on, and he shared something about beauty that I think is so cool. And so I'm going to play this short clip of him recapping what beauty means, and then we're going to keep on moving. So take a look at one of our speakers from last month. His name is Mr. Tyrone Brunson.
And real quick, fellas, I don't want us to think beauty is just a feminine term. Like all these other words and synonyms many of us use, they point to the same meaning anyway. So we might as well get straight to the point. Like, for example, you might be calling someone or something. Oh, yeah, that's fly. That's straight. Oh, she bad. Shawty a down. It's pointing back to the same beauty. We're talking about beauty here. Come on now. Don't worry about it, dog. We're secure men over here. You're referring to beauty. We know. We are secure men with bruises, but can you see the beauty beyond it? Huh?
Come on. They're secure men with bruises, but can you see the beauty beyond it? So when you see beauty, you can interchange it for any words you want. Handsome, cute, whatever you want to substitute that in tonight for Beauty Beyond the Bruises. That's exactly what you do. And so thank you guys again for tuning in. I'm going to share another quick video to introduce myself to you guys in case some of you don't know. My name is Simene, the student teacher. And then right after this video, I'm going to do the introduction, bring up our very first speaker. He's here. He's ready. He's handsome. He is ready to go, and I'm excited about it. And so check out this short video really quick, and then we'll be back introducing our first speaker. Go ahead on share, tag, invite somebody, invite a man, invite a brother, invite your nephews, your uncles, your grandparents, your co-workers, your colleagues, your bosses. Invite them all tonight because tonight's going to be amazing.
It is indeed my esteemed pleasure to present to some and introduce to others Simene Walden, also known as the student teacher. She is a motivational speaker and trainer, book coach, international Amazon best-selling author, and spoken word artist.
Simene Walden.
The heart of a teacher so you can close the gaps. And so if we're going to talk about closing the gaps, it became personal for me. And as an educator, it has to become personal for you. And so personal growth is not just about getting new information, but it's about unlearning those limited habits.
I just had an amazing time with Simene Walden.
She spoke to us about leadership and how it is so valuable to be a great leader and how you have to believe in yourself so that you can lead others.
And then the second part with A is you have to radically accept
the students that's in front of you, because they radically accept us as a teacher standing in front of them.
She just spoke to a group of students from the age of 14 through 17, and it was absolutely amazing.
I am Lakeisha Hill, the proud principal of our David Taylor Virtual Academy, and I had the distinct honor of having a most wonderful surprise today and meeting Miss Walden.
Book her, bring her out. Teachers, educators, you need her.
So it's very important who we have speaking into our, it is very important who we go for counsel. The Bible says there's safety in the multitude of counsel.
This is how you need to do it. Boom, 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 real quick. Just be ready, because she ready.
Walden.
Hey, you hear that? She said, be ready because I'm ready. So we are ready tonight. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Listen, we have an app that we're using. It's called Event T. You can go to the app. I want you to go download it. You click this bit.ly link right here. You see the schedule, the digital guide. You get to see all of the guys' info, their social media links. It kind of looks like this. And when you go to it, well, this is what it'll look like when you click on it, if you can see it. And then you click on program and then you pull it up and their bio and everything is right there. So going over there, you can ask questions. You can post your question obviously here in the chat, whether you're tuning in from Facebook. If you're tuning in from Facebook, let us know if you're tuning in from Facebook. If you're tuning in from YouTube, let us know if you're tuning in from YouTube. And so I'm about to introduce our very, very first speaker, and I'm excited for him to be a part tonight. And so Mr. Keith Gamble is a passionate motivational speaker, high-ticket sales expert, and the author of the upcoming book, Merkaba, Embrace Your Light Within. And Keith, I hope I didn't mess that up. His mission is to empower others to unlock their authentic potential and step confidently into a life of abundance, purpose, and success. With over a decade of professional experience, including leadership roles in sales, security, and event production, Keith has developed a unique approach to resilience, strategy, and authentic connection. His journey has taken him from overcoming personal adversity to discovering the deeper principles that guide true success: perspective, empathy, grace, and gratitude. Keith believes in empowering individuals and teams to transcend limitations, tap into their inner wisdom, and create lasting impact in their personal and professional lives. Through motivational speaking and high-performance sales coaching, Keith helps others find clarity, align with purpose, and cultivate a mindset of unwavering determination and self-awareness. How many of you know we need to be self-aware in 2025? If we not, there's a lot of things that need to happen in 2025. We definitely need to be self-aware. Whether in a boardroom, on a stage, and one-on-one mentorships, Keith is dedicated to helping others embrace their light within and build a future that reflects their highest potential. Connect with Keith and create something extraordinary together, where perspective, empathy, grace, and gratitude empower authentic success. And so, without further ado, we would like to welcome Mr. Keith Gamble to the stage.
How are you, Miss Simene?
I am good. How are you doing? Did you?
I am. You said what now?
Did you like my? It was kind of like a drum roll, but not really.
I did. I appreciated it, man. It got me nice and loose. It got me ready. I feel like I'm getting ready for a football game over here.
Come on. Thank you so much for saying yes to being a part. I know it's going to be amazing. And so I'm going to step out the way and let you do your thing. So God bless you again. And thank you so much for saying yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Absolutely. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a joyous and abundant day. My name is obviously Keith Gamble. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be a part of the first ever All Men Summit for Beauty Beyond Bruises. This is like huge, right? And this topic in itself, it hits me in a way that is really insane. You know, the timing of everything. So let me ask you something, right? When you actually look in the mirror and you look at yourself, who do you see in the mirror? Who do you see when you are in a moment where you have to truly connect with your true self and understand exactly what you have to offer in any given now moment, right? A lot of people in general don't like what they see, and they don't understand the things that it takes in order to find your true self and to discover your true self. You see, me personally, I was raised in Long Island, New York, small town, a little suburb town, and did, and lived in a way that was outside of the norm from everybody else in my area. I lived in an affluent, very, very nice neighborhood, if you will. And I had to learn to be okay with being a little bit different, right? I had to learn to be okay with moving in a way that was more conducive to my personal growth and my personal journey. But little did I know that that was going to be something that would follow me throughout the whole course of my entire life. It's funny, the older I get and the more that I realize that these lessons that have been following me throughout the course of my journey are continuing to come up in order for me to really understand who and what I see when I look in the mirror. And oftentimes I'm, maybe even surprised, honestly, because every level that I get to and every step of awareness that I can bring on to myself, I realize more and more that I didn't quite understand myself as good as I thought I did just beforehand. And that's the thing, guys. Rediscovering yourself is the discovery of your divine nature. I'll say that again. Rediscovering yourself is the same as discovering your divine nature, who and what you are inside this vessel. You see, a couple of years ago, probably like right before COVID, I thought I had everything rolling, right? I had the career, I was managing a large company, had 400 plus associates and employees that worked with me and for me, and I was married, had the kids and the house and all the different things that we strive to have within this superficial world that we live in, right? And right around COVID, for whatever reason, it just, things weren't serving me anymore. There was something that was going on in that time and in those moments of realization that I needed to be in a different state. I needed to be in a different state of mind, and I needed to allow myself to grow. And it hit me then that in order to grow, you have to unlearn different things that you did learn in order to discover, again, a new version of yourself, right? In order to grow, you got to go through certain growing pains, if you will, just like working out, just like, a plant or a seed in the ground. You got to go through certain things in order to discover that there's so much more to you, to go through those growths and go through those moments. There was a lesson that I learned. I leave the job, right? I left my job, and I didn't have like anywhere, like I just didn't have any plan really, because right after I left my job, COVID hit, right? And when COVID hit, I had to take time to really look within myself, just like a lot of us did, and figure out what we wanted to do. What were we going to do now that our back was up against the wall? Some people went with government assistance. Some people went with all these different types of routes. And for me personally, I just tried to hone into what I actually believed in and what actually fit me. Well, I never stopped operating in that way. And in turn, what I ended up realizing was whatever I felt that actually resonated with me and the things that I really wanted to operate within were opposite of what society wanted me to operate in. So in turn, I found myself in really, really, really tough positions, okay? Because I knew what I wanted to strive to become, and I knew that what I was operating in wasn't really there for me, if you will, right? And the moments that I was striving to make steps forward and striving to put myself in better positions and striving to do these different types of jobs and open up different opportunities, I kept on being hit with these roadblocks that pushed me 5 steps back, So sometimes in life, we take 4 or 5 steps forward and then we get knocked back another 4 or 5 steps back, and it seems like we go nowhere, right? So I had to learn really quick that this whole journey that we were on was a part of a process. It wasn't something that was linear. It wasn't something that was going to go straight ahead and just open up a different level of just because you imagine something doesn't mean it was going to come to fruition right away, And for me, I had to really take the time to understand exactly how I wanted to move in my next step. So I ended up running a nightclub out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was a sleazy car salesman for a little bit. I used to run security teams out here in the city, and I was one of the it people, if you will, and always in the scene and always doing different things with different groups and organizations. And still, it didn't resonate with me. And I was around people that, seemingly loved me from the outside, but didn't fully understand me for who and what I was internally, right? And over that time, I just strived and I kept my head down and I kept working. I kept doing what I had to do. Inevitably, after multiple different odds and end jobs and opportunities, I got to a point where I said, okay, what matters the most? What matters the most? What's the most important thing in this world? And that 100% was my connection with myself. I had to take time to really do a full evaluation and audit myself at my core to figure out who and what I genuinely wanted to be. I had to think about, how does Keith Gamble walk at his best? How does he talk at his best? Who does he spend time with? What type of projects is he working on? What type of things is he going to strive towards? What values does he hold? And in that time, looking within myself, I got into different meditative practices, meditation. I got into, getting into nature and understanding more of the connection of all of this world that we live in, and how it's, to me, the personification of God, essentially. So I figured out that what I really, really, really wanted and what I really needed was to understand unconditional love for myself. And in turn, when I found unconditional love for myself, I then was able to transmute that love outwards so I can be the personification of that unconditional love for other people around me and other things around me. Because that is to me, that is that light within, that is that personification of that fractal energy of what God is. Okay? That feeling of, knowing and understanding that, we are not this vessel, that we are fractal pieces of that light source energy, of that energy that is what we like to call God, right? And not saying that we are God. We're just as much God as a sun ray is the sun. We're a fractal piece of it. And within us, when we find that unconditional love and we transmute it outwards, we realize that this world is only going to give us more of that unconditional love, because this is what we show to others. This is what we show to the situations that we're in. So ever since realizing that, I realized that the struggles I was going through was just a snippet of the realization of what I was creating within my reality. Now, what does that mean? That means that, okay, let's just take you back to August of this year, right? Or October of this year, this past October. I was in a really interesting spot, right? Everything seemed like it was going great. Work was phenomenal, right? I was in that mode. I was in that pocket. I was getting, promotion offers, and things were clearing up for me. And, from there, I was able to fix my credit, right? And me and my family, everything seems to be going pretty good. Everything's going all right. From there, from fixing my credit, I decided to get a car that I really wanted. And now I'm in flow. Now I'm in motion. Now I'm checking off the boxes, right? So I've got the opportunities. I've got the car. I've got my credit fixed. I've got my family. I've got a life. I feel like, all right, things are kind of settling in right now, and things are feeling pretty good. All while, launching my podcasts and really speaking about these different thought processes that started just downloading into me, so I can speak these truths to the people who were a part of my journey and who resonated with it. So one day I was like, you know what? I need to make some extra money, need to do the things I need to do. and I'm driving down the road, and I was going down the road with a passenger. I was driving Uber, and I'm going about 20 miles per hour through a green light, and then I got T-boned by a stolen SUV going 60 miles per hour. No lights, no brakes, no nothing. Completely shattered 3 of my ribs, shattered the ribs of my passenger rather, and a young kid came out with a shiesty mask, if you will, with a ski mask and ran off. The car was stolen, okay? And in that moment, I had just got the car. I was 2 weeks into getting the car. And I remember looking up and someone came to the door and they opened up the door and they said, "Sir, how are you feeling?" And I looked at them, knowing that my ribs were broken, knowing that my beautiful car just got totaled. I was driving a Genesis G80 at the time. And I looked at them and I said, "I'm amazing," and that's an understatement. Because in that moment, all I can think about and realize was how grateful that I was still alive. That the thought of me being in a situation where I could have died in that now moment, in that particular moment, and lost everything, lost my family and all sorts of things, I didn't allow it to pull me down and pull me into the pits. You see, this is where I'm going to start to get in my bag a little bit, right? Because I started to realize just now in this moment that the reason why I was able to make that adjustment in that now moment was because I've been through so much in my journey, right? In that time when I finally got that car, I already had battled homelessness and living in a warehouse in the middle of Charlotte with no AC, no heat, roaches crawling all over me, right? Walking and taking trains up to my job, right? That I was washing in a sink on the way to getting there, right? And I remember, working at that job and then walking all the way back home, a good 5-6 miles in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. And with that money that I was getting from that job, whatever I was able to hold on to as I shifted money towards my ex-wife and my kids and everything at the time, I was funding a business, okay? All of my money was going towards this comedy thing that I was producing and the comedians that I was bringing in and trying to host events in order for people to have joyous and abundant moments within the city. And there was something that I always told myself then, that even if I was going through something, that it wasn't my responsibility to show other people that things were hard, right? Because you had to, again, exude that beauty, right? Through those feelings, through those bruises that were happening to me in that time. I finally got to a point, right, where I'm in flow. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm producing these shows. I get hired on as like a roofer, and I'm making good money. And my warehouse that I was living in got upgraded to a trailer, right? No AC, no heat, no electricity, right? The winters were rough, guys. The winters were rough. And finally, I get this job. I get a nice little truck that I'm driving around in. Things are moving forward, whatever the case is. And I was immersed, guys, immersed in a world that was completely, it wasn't for me. It wasn't an energy that was for me. It wasn't a feeling that was for me. Everything that I thought I had, I lost it. I lost it in partying. I lost it in the women. I lost it in, all the different extracurriculars that really disconnected me from my true self, that disconnected me from the grace and the love that I gave myself and that unconditional love that I used to exude whenever anything would happen to me. And then I got to a point where, I remember laying in the trailer one day and I was crying my eyes out, guys. I was just like crying. I just couldn't handle it. I just couldn't take it anymore. All the spiritual battles I went through and all of the adversities. And I remember I found the will to live within my soul. I found it. I located it. Okay. And I had the option to let it go at that moment. And this is why, having the right woman around you as a man is so important, right? In that moment, I reached out and I called to my ex-wife of all people. And I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I have this will to live, this will to move on, this will to operate within, this world. Because every time I try to go forward, I keep on stepping backwards. Every time I try to move forward, something else happens to me ever since COVID, right? Now I'm living in this trailer and I think I'm gonna let it go. And you know what she said to me? She said, Keith, knowing what you know, if you ended up there and you went to the other side, what would happen? I looked at her and I laughed, and I looked at the phone and I laughed with tears just running down my face. And I said, they would send me right back because the job isn't done. Okay? Let me tell you that again. I said they would send me right back because the job isn't done. You see, when I went through this journey and when I went through this journey of awareness, I knew that I had a purpose here on this planet. I knew that there was, again, I was supposed to be the example of what happens when adversity happens to you and you continue to have faith within who and what you definitely are, right? And you start to unlock this level of understanding that, you know, there is so much that we need to, you know, achieve within your definite major purpose. So you fast forward to the car accident. I've been through the pits, right? And that was just a snippet of my story that I just told you. I've been through these really rough times. So I'm at this car accident. I step out and say I'm amazing, and that's an understatement. You get me to the hospital across town. I'm sitting there. I'm broken ribs. I'm all messed up. And I'm walking around to the other rooms in the emergency room checking on everybody else because they're in the same situation I'm in. They're somewhere where they didn't necessarily ask to be because they have an emergency, right? But here's the beautiful thing. I said at that time, I said, you know what? I just got this car 2 weeks ago. It's gone now. I broke my ribs. I'm out of work. That there is a reason why this all happened. There is a purpose as to why I'm going through the things that I'm going through. There has to be, right? Because as faithful as I was and as continuous as I was in my journey of that perseverance and that connection to God that I developed over the course of time, that there was no reason that this wasn't happening to me for any reason, right? There was something that had to come with it. So in that time, I'm laying down, my ribs are broken. I don't know how I'm going to operate, don't know how I'm going to move. Me and my wife at the time were going back and forth. Things aren't really going too well. We're rocky. I spent all my money, ran up all my credit cards, trying to keep the lights on at the house and take care of the kids. And boom, I remember my ex-wife came in and she said, Keith, just so you know, I'm leaving. I broke the lease early and I'm taking the kids with me. I had nowhere to go, right? I didn't know what I was going to do. This is just a couple months ago. And in that moment, I looked at, you know, myself and I looked at God and I looked at her and I just smiled and I said, hey, listen, that's a beautiful thing. That's your goal. That's your prerogative. That's fine, you know? And she had every right to make whatever choices that she felt were best for her in order to get her moving forward. But I still didn't have the luxury of being defeated because the job wasn't done. Do you hear me? I still had to move on. I still had to move forward. And that's when I discovered motivational speaking and the passion of being able to tell my story so I can inspire others to keep moving forward because the job isn't done. You know? And there's these realizations, again, that every time that you're taking those steps forward and you think that you're making progress, and you know, I have two beautiful children. I didn't even talk about my kids. Holy smokes. One of the most important factors of me even being a human on this planet, outside of my service to all that is to operate in a way that I know that my children can be not only proud of me, but to be a conduit of what that positive, forward moving energy looks like and how it operates. Okay? Unfortunately, my children have always seen me struggle. It's just the way it is. They're 7 and 10. And this has been going on since COVID. So my son's earliest years, daddy's always having to deal with something, right? But again, every time he sees me, it's a smile. Every time anybody sees me or talks to me, I'm amazing, and that's an understatement because I have another opportunity to follow in my path, to help others, to inspire others to be the best that they possibly can be. And mind you, this goes hand in hand with thoughts on, you know, quantum physics, vibrational frequencies. I'll be honest, I'm a nerd. I can go for hours talking about that stuff. And how the way that we resonate, the energy that we put forth, the energy that we put out is what's going to come back to you. Do you hear me? There are people out there, and we all know them, that are continuously looking at their adversities as problems, continuously looking at their issues as things that are holding them back and things that are that they put on other people. And that's because they're looking at their issues as something that is detrimental to them. I've learned to look at my adversities as something that is teaching me how to be a better version of me so I can move forward and be the example of what perseverance is, to be the light and the example of what happens when you get knocked down and then you have the opportunity to move forward on a continuous basis. And there is nothing more that I love than having this thought process and this energy and this guidance around me and this realization that when you have God at your side, there's nothing that can hold you back. So again, I ask you this. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Who are you when you step out, when you go through adversity, and who are you when your back is up against the wall? That goes a long way to determining who you're going to become. And I'll close out with saying, I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative of every now moment and everything that we operate within. No matter what the issue is, no matter what the level of adversity, no matter who you feel is against you, or if you're talking bad about yourself and against yourself, whatever the case is, I want you guys to know that you are exactly who you're looking for. You continue to show up for yourself, you continue to strive forward, and continue to be the example of the best possible version that you can be. And with that, no one can take anything away from you. I appreciate you so much. That's my time. Again, Keith Gamble, thank you.
Hey, Keith, man, your story is powerful. I remember when you told me, a little bit of it, but wow, to hear it and to hear how you come. How sometimes people say, we don't look like what we've been through. Like, truly, you don't look like
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful journey. I appreciate it. Seriously, I do. Yeah, it's amazing.
And then you always have every time I see you, every time I engage you inside of our group, you're always smiling. When you do your post on like Instagram, because I'll follow you a lot on Instagram. So follow Keith. If you're not following Keith, Infallible Truths. You always have this joyous like, wow, because you just never know what people experience. So thank you again, Keith. If people want to get in contact with you, how can they reach out to you? What's next for you? Tell us about the name of your book really quick.
Yeah, so my book is that I'm writing is called Merkaba, Embracing the Light Within, and it goes in depth with understanding this journey of again finding your best self, right? And what it means to oscillate and vibrate at a certain frequency through all sorts of life challenges, adversity, so on and so forth, and in turn activating your light body, your Merkaba, which is sacred geometry. So that's been an interesting journey because it's a bit of a memoir and a lot of history and a lot of great factors there. And then you can find me on Instagram, ineffable at ineffable_truths. And then if you want to email me, keith.gamble44@gmail.com or book keithgamble@gmail.com.
All right, man, we got it. And guys, listen, if you go over to the app, and I'll put it in here, Keith, all of his information is also there, but I'll put it here too. So Keith, thank you again for being a part, and I will see you again later, man. Thank you so much.
Love y'all. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Hey, listen, I get excited when I hear men tell their truth. I get excited when you hear stories of people who have really overcome things. So share this, invite your friends. I met this next brother in person like 2-3 weeks ago. We made acquaintance in our North Carolina speaker chapter group for Next Level. So that's how come I met Keith, and this is how I met Steven. Steven is just like, he's such a down-to-earth, gentleman, like a gentle giant. He reminds me like a big brother. And so I'm excited that he was able to come on tonight. And so I'm about to read Stephen's bio. He's going to come on. He has a meeting tonight at 8. So if you like what he's saying, you might want to join his Men on the Rise group. So Stephen is an international sought-after speaker specializing in discipline, leadership, and faith-driven success. With a background in corporate leadership and personal development coaching, Stephen has helped countless individuals and organizations unlock their full potential. His unique approach focuses on the power of discipline, a mindset that transforms uncertainty into opportunity and aspirations into achievements. Stephen's journey is one of resilience, overcoming significant personal and professional obstacles. He discovered that true success is not about luck, but habits, consistency, and unwavering integrity. Today, he shares these lessons with audiences worldwide, equipping them with actionable strategies to master self-discipline, strengthen leadership skills, and cultivate a legacy of impact. So, Stephen, I'm about to change that over. We're gonna have on the white. No, you like the white? Let's go back to the black. Let's go to the black. So, without further ado, Stephen.
I'm muted. There you go. How you doing?
Good.
Great seeing you. And I thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to be here on this event, this platform. I'm excited to be a part, and I want to appreciate for all you're doing and continue doing the great work you have done. And it's been a pleasure, no doubt.
Thank you so much, man. You're so cool. You like the cool big brother, man. Listen, I'm gonna back out the way because I know you already got what you planned, but I thank you so much for being a part and sharing tonight. So I'm gonna back out the way and you just speak life to us, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Well, welcome everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you today. Don't have long because I got to get ready for my call here, but I'm talking as an honor to be a part. As you see, I'm repping the Men on the Rise. I don't know if you can see it, but that's our brand. And what is going on is I'm a male who grew up with not everything, the silver spoon and things like that. So my journey has been like so many that come through a lot of different struggles. I think about my guy Keith, man, his journey is definitely resilience. It's really the same. And it's my thing that even hearing what he said, it's my same story. It's not looking at the cup as being half empty, but turning around and looking at this cup as being half full. Taking the things that you have been through and you've gone through and actually grow through it. And so that's pretty much me too. Myself, I grew up, as you see, I was born in New York, the NY, not the Yankees. I do like the Yankees. I don't know much about baseball, but I was born in NY, but grew up in the Carolinas here. And I grew up with two parents where my mother, she really held things down. All right. And I grew up with a father who was dealing with substance abuse at the time. And so that really brought strain on the household. So I grew up in those time when in the 80s, when crack and all that kind of hit the scene. So I seen a lot of those different things. And so I grew up through some tough times, but those things make me more sensitive and more in tune with what's going on to those individuals who I've been called to. So I shared all that because that way, again, what you have gone through, you can be able to help someone else along the journey. So your misery can actually become your ministry. And so I fast forward to now 20 years later, I have been in men's ministry for over 20 years. Now you asked me back in my 20s, did I want this? No. I think it was like Moses. I actually been called to something that I had no idea just how it's going to come out down the road. And so my thing is, sometimes what you have been called to is because you have a gift within, but you just have to continue leaning towards it and keep feeding that gift. And guess what? You will develop over time. And so I pretty much have that journey. I have that within me that you ask me, I don't have any degrees in what I do, but I know I just have a heart for what I do. And what I do is to empower and inspire leading men. What is that? I'm glad you asked, because what I do, I love the fact that wherever I go, and tomorrow I get an opportunity to go to the prisons and serve men every Tuesday. And every time I go in there, I get a chance to serve leading men every Tuesday. So what that is me getting an opportunity to go in and encourage, to walk side by side another brother and encourage them, hey, no matter what it looks like, does not mean that's who you are. You may have done something, but that's not who you are in your future. So you can take that wrong and make it a right. And so that's who I am. That's what I've learned. And I carry that same message to someone else, because guess what? I'm not perfect. Make plenty of mistakes. I can tell my wife right now, she'll come and tell you, yeah, he makes mistakes. But I don't allow those mistakes to define who I am. All right. And so I've been here. I'm welcome to be here because I am speaking to men. I'm encouraging men to continue taking this walk and keep winning every single day. And I actually have a son that's 34. I became a father at 15 years old. That was a scary situation. I thought I was the man until that happened. But even now, I tell my son who's 34, I tell him, man, hey, stop hitting it for a home run. This win the day, get on base. And when you just get on base, guess what? You see a little further, and you can make the next day count, and you can make the next day count. All right. And so I say all that because yesterday, and actually every Sunday, I do a thing called Soul Food Sunday. And I want to jump into this quick because this right here, I woke up with this message. Now, usually I kind of just take the message that my pastor may speak and I actually regurgitate my own words. But I woke up with a message that I was like, that sounds good. And the message that I woke up with, it actually, when I went to church, my pastor preached the same scriptures from what I actually woke up with. So that was confirmation that it was right in sync. But what I got from was a couple of weeks ago, I heard of this, that cattle, they run from the storm, right? And how many of us faces storms, but we don't want to deal with it, right? Now, sometimes we go through storms that we like, man, it's bigger than me. I don't want to face this situation. But if you run from it, what happens is you end up staying in that storm a lot longer, because guess what happened with the cattle? They take off running. They can't run, that fast. So that storm stays with them a lot longer. But what I learned was a bison, which is the same species of family with cattle, which they run towards the storm. Come on. What am I saying? I'm saying they take on that storm and look at it and say, man, hey, let me dive into it. Let me face this situation. And guess what happened? They don't only run to the storm, they run through the storm and get to the other side a lot sooner, a lot faster. So that's what I want to encourage us. Don't just look at that situation and say, man, and point fingers and try to get away from it. No, you face that situation and you run to it. And so I want to share that with you, because the next phase is I want to take you to where my pastor kind of tied the two together, was because I think about a person that's in the Bible. His name is David, right? I don't know if anybody familiar with the story, which takes my point. It's actually when David was called to be a king at some point in time in his life. He got that assignment on his life when he wasn't even looking like he was ever going to be a king. But what happened was a series of events led him into that space where he was able to now move into that place. And the first event that happened to help him be recognized was he had to face his giant. Yeah. So he was in a situation where he actually went to a battle that wasn't even his fight. And he actually say, hey, what's up with the Philistine? What's up with this giant? And they told him, hey, if you fight this giant, you can actually get something in return. He said, hey, show me how to do it. And so that's exactly what he did. He faced that face that situation, and guess what? He didn't run from it. He ran towards it. And so in this situation, he didn't just say, hey, allow the fight to come to me. He took the fight to it. And so I want to encourage you, whenever you facing something, don't wait for it to come to you. You say, what is it that I need to do? Let me equip myself. And that's exactly what he did. He equipped himself. He had a rag and 5 rocks. Come on. And then what he did, he took those 5 rocks. He said, let me go out here and I'm going to run towards my giant. And he took that rag, he took those rocks, and he actually fought and he killed that giant that he was facing. And guess what? He was able to be victorious. And so that's the same thing you and I have to do every single day. We don't like what life is bringing us. We don't like what the situation sometimes we have to face, but we have to be willing to do our part each and every day. So every day I get up, I wake up with the mindset of, let me slay my giants today. What are those giants I have to face? So I wake up with certain things that I want to give you some tools that's going to help you to be able to slay your giant. the first thing I do is I speak words of affirmation. I pray. I speak to myself and tell myself how this day is going to go in spite of what it looked like. So you got to tell your day what it's going to be before it tell you. So that's the first thing you got to do. You got to speak to yourself. Like I told you earlier, you can look at the cup as being half empty, or you can look at the cup as being half full. It depends on how you see it. And once you speak a thing, now you can believe a thing and you can go out there and act on it. So that's the first thing you want to do every single day. Speak to yourself. Tell yourself what this day is going to be, regardless of what it looks like. Once you speak to this day, now you have to put certain things in place. So I believe in putting my routine together. I make sure I now speak to myself, but then I write the vision and make it plain. So I make sure I have things in place to be able to go out there and take action. So I don't just wander through my day. I go out here and I strive through my day because I already have a plan of action to be able to win my day. I didn't just wander on this call today. I had this on my agenda to be a part of this call. So when I step on this call, I make sure I'm able to speak to that one person that I can get something that they've been called to get from being here. And so once I do that, I review. I go back through my day and I make sure whenever I get an opportunity again, what did I take from this time and how can I be able to prepare myself for the next? And so you plan, you do, and then you do what? You review. And once you do that, you can prepare. And so I want to share that with you because I want to encourage everybody to know that you have a gift, you have something that's special that's within you that only you can do. But you have to be able to believe that you can go out here and achieve that greatness that's within you. Thank you for your time. I want to thank you so much, sis, to allow me to be here, part of your platform. And I want to make sure anything I can do, I want to be able to help anyone out there to be out here, go out here and win on purpose. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Hey, that's how you come and drop the mic, Stephen. I love that. Man, thank you so much. I'm saying, listen, if it wasn't for anybody else, I know it's for me. What you said a couple things. I was trying to type it fast, but you said your misery could become your ministry. Child, listen, I probably got 1,500 ministries, but that was really, really good. Like, thank you so much. And I love how you broke it down, how you said, I speak to my day and tell my day how it's going to be. I don't just allow my day to kind of just, happen saying. So I appreciate you so much. I know you have to go on your call. Tell everybody how they can get connected with you and tell us about what Men on the Rise is really quick if you have time.
Awesome. Well, definitely, like I say, every Monday at 8 p.m. we have a men's call. We have men coming in, calling in from all over the country and even other locations. So we global. We got guys from Toronto and all over the place. But Men on the Rise is a movement, not just a meeting. But what we're doing, we're building up men to lead, to love, and to live with purpose. So every Monday, that's what we do. We educate. So we have a book we're going through. We have a book club, but then we also expose. So we have different guest speakers. We have different people who train and teach us on different topics about things that will benefit us. But then we go out here and we execute. We challenge each other to find your lane, find your gift, find your space, and go out there and win on purpose. So we do that. And so we have a phenomenal time. Every quarter we come together, have fellowship, but then we go out here and be the change that we want to see.
Come on here, Stephen. Stephen, they want to connect with you. How can they connect with you?
Awesome. Well, you can go to Stephen Loney, like my name is spelled, StephenLoney.com. That's my website. But also you can look me up as on Instagram on 100_Stephen Loney. And then I think I left you some information where you can be able to, those who would like to, please drop that in the chat. It's our Monday's call. It's the link to be able to join in. Please share that with the men. And if you want to join in, we ask you just to come on in, have a great time. Come bring something to the table because we don't just speak to you, but we want you to engage and conversate back. So we welcome y'all to attend any of our events.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Have a good night and tell your family and everybody I said thank you. So thank you so much. And we'll talk soon. God bless you.
Be blessed too. Y'all have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye. Guys, listen. Tell your daddy, tell your grandpappy, tell your uncle, tell your brother, tell your husband. Listen, we have men here tonight that is speaking to other men. One thing about men is that men have a way to talk to other men, right? I'm not a man, right? I don't ever want to be a man. I'm not trying to be a man, right? as women, sometimes we have to step into these dominant roles, or we have to, take the lead as people who, do not have a man in their household or do not have a man helping raise their child. So sometimes you have to take on these, roles that you don't necessarily want to take on. But what I absolutely believe to be true is that only a man can speak to another man and they really get it like a man can give it to them. I believe only a man can raise another male. I absolutely believe that. Do women do a great job doing it? Yes. Have women been doing it for years? Yes. But I believe there's something about when you have a man that steps up and takes on the responsibility, whether it's their biological child or not. It could come by way of coaching. It could come by way of mentoring. It could come by way of, marriage and what we call blended families. But men, like, you are necessary and you are needed. And a lot of times men take on a role, right? And they take on this responsibility that you should do this, right? A lot of women have that mindset, you should be doing this, right? And we all know what we should be doing. But it's okay to allow a man to also rest at the same time. It's okay for a man to be able to find that courageous place with that woman. I think Keith said it. That's why it's so important to have the right woman or right women around you, because you will need at times for them to speak life into you when you get a little weak, when you get a little fatigued, when you gotta take off the Superman cape. You out in the world being big dog all day. You want to come home, baby, just relax and recuperate and take your head off and just kind of breathe for a second, right? And so for all the men out there, we thank you again. We salute you for what you're doing. And we just want you to know that we appreciate you. And you don't have to walk around as if everything is together. You heard Keith share his story. You heard Stephen share his story, right? Some people have been in some very horrible situations. Some men grew up in situations where they had to become the man at a very, very early age. And we salute you guys and we appreciate you. And I just want to share a couple statistics before our next speaker comes on really quick. Okay, so this is something you may or may not know. So I shared this before, back in February, I got certified as an adult mental health first aider. And simply what that means is if someone is in a crisis, you're the first person. I'm like a first responder, and you kind of help see what they got going on, and you kind of can lead them in the right direction. Do they need to go get some other supports? Can you just lead them through some type of calming activities? Is it something life-threatening where you need to call the cops or get other people involved? And one of the things that I learned when I got trained, because I was trained for youth, I've been trained for youth mental health first aider for a while, but I wanted to make sure I had a better understanding of not just youth, but also adults, because in the educational field, you don't just deal with young people, you deal with families, you deal with parents, you deal with grandparents, you deal with other colleagues and other adults, right? And one thing I would tell you guys is just because you're a professional, just because you got titles behind your name, just because we look all poised and polished and we can put the things on and put all the subject verb agreements together, it does not make people exempt from going through stuff. It does not make people exempt from bruises. It does not make them exempt from, going through pain. I love that what Stephen said, your misery can be your ministry. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. I know for mine is one of the big things I talk about in education is building healthy relationships. If I can tell you my personal relationships be like, I feel like one is good in 1 minute and then something happens and you're like, what the heck is going on? Right. So whatever you got going on, whatever it is that God has called you to do, just do it to your best of your knowledge, right? So I'm going to share with you 2-3 stats because my little bro is in the building. And so we're going to keep this going, but I want to share these 2 stats with you. And then I'm going to read his comments. That's right, Keith. Like, we can look all, the men are fly, handsome, all of that, but it does not absolve us from our pain. And so I want to share these 2 stats with you. Then I'm going to get into our next speaker's bio. It says nearly 1 in 10 men globally. So this is not just the U.S. This is not necessarily just Black men, but nearly 1 in 10 men globally experience depression or anxiety, though fewer than half receive treatment. Now, what I was saying is one of the things that I learned that day is that it takes on average 11 years before somebody gets help for whatever was traumatic to them that is causing them to have a mental health episode. On average, 11 years. So imagine 11 years. If you have a baby and you have a baby and you raising your child for 11 years before you get any help, they're about to graduate from high school in a not so healthy environment. And sometimes it's not any intentional fault of your own, but that's just kind of how things are going. So when you know things are happening, you got to get those checkups. We don't have to be falling apart or breaking down to get the help we need right now. Go ahead and get you help. There's nothing wrong with talking to people. There's nothing wrong with having counsel and therapy. The Bible says that there is safety in the multitude of counsel. So I keep people around me that can say something to me. I keep people around me that can check me. You also got to have people who are willing to say something to you, and they're not looking at your platform. They're not looking at your popularity. They're not looking at your name or what people think about you, but they're looking at you as your person, as your soul. I think he talked about that, having people around that just see you for you. So men, if you are going through something, if you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, your family don't understand, or you tell them and they come up with a whole nother scenario about why you acting the way you act and why you doing, please go find you another outlet. Please go talk to somebody about that, because you'll find out I'm not really crazy, and maybe you do need some medication, or maybe you need some prayer, or maybe you need a variety of things, but go get you help. Don't stay stuck in a place where you just not getting the help. And I always say this, people who don't grieve well can never help me grieve. Some of you may know I lost my brother in December, and I'm telling you, it's been a time. And I don't go to people who can't help me. I don't go to people who don't deal with their own grief. I go to people that can absolutely help me. So keep that in mind, guys. And then here's a second stat I'll give you before I bring up our next speaker. In the U.S., right? So we in the U.S., United States of America. God bless the United States of America. May God protect the United States of America. And I would say this other thing, please don't agree with the negative, right? We live in the U.S., right? I would never speak down about the U.S. because I live here. I want to live in peace. I want to live in safety. So don't come into agreement with the negative. So here's another stat. In the U.S., in this United States of America, and shout out to all the other countries that's watching us. Shout out to all the other countries that's going to watch us in the years to come. Bless you. Approximately 14.3% of men that's age 12 plus. Now, I taught middle school for 20 years. So this is around the 7th, 8th grade, maybe 9th grade era, okay? Men, it starts around that time. Men age, and of course they're not men, they're still boys, growing up to be young men, age 12 plus show signs of depression in a recent 2-week span. So if you kind of watch your child or watch a male around you, you see something kind of off or something a little different in a 2-week span, pay attention to that. Ask him, are you okay? Right? Not always, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? You all right? You okay? Can I help you? And again, I'm a female, right? So I don't know how men can talk to other men to get them to open up. Stephen has a Men on the Rise group Monday nights at 8:00. So perhaps if you a guy and you like, man, I need to just talk to some other good brothers, I suggest you go and join his group. I will drop all the information there. It is on the app. So if you go to bit.ly Men's Summit Live app, June 2025, if you go there, you will pull up everything. You'll see all of their links, all of their Leonard's EPK there is there. Stephen's EPK is there. So if you go there, you will find all the information there with these guys. And so I'm excited. I'm going back over here to the app so I can read off of this young man's, this good brother's a bio. So you can see if you go to the app, it's here. So this is Mr. Leonard Dixon Jr. is a dedicated motivational speaker, mentor, and mental health advocate known for his impactful, purpose-driven messages that inspire resilience and hope with a genuine and relatable presence. And let me put a pin here. I met Leonard probably about 4 years ago online through our like all the guys you've seen so far. They've come through the Next Level Speakers Academy that I'm a part of, right? And me and Leonard met for the first time like 2 or 3 weeks ago at the conference. And when I say as nice, as respectful, as down to earth as he was as I met him online, he's even more of that in person. And so, guys, thank you guys for just being who you are offline and online. I met a lot of people where you like, do I need a camera to talk to you? Because your personality definitely switches when you're not online. So he is really one of those ones who is definitely a relatable presence. Leonard connects deeply with audience, drawing on personal experience and years of mentorship to help individuals navigate pain, discover purpose, and cultivate self-awareness. And if you've heard that theme tonight, Keith's bio talked about being self-aware. Leonard empowers others to overcome adversity and develop a resilient mindset rooted in clarity and strength. Brene Brown says clarity is kind. So thank God for being clear. He empowers others to overcome adversity and develop a resilient mindset rooted in clarity and strength. And I just read it back for the second time because maybe I needed to say that to you guys one more time. Through partnerships with schools, nonprofits, and community organizations, Leonard addresses a wide range of real-life challenges from mental health and identity to emotional healing and decision-making. And so if you are a school, a principal, and I have a lot of educators on my page, principals, superintendent, district leaders, if you're looking for an amazing young man to come in and speak to your staff, speak to your students, you're about to see a young man that come up here in a second. Leonard's authentic approach and powerful personal story resonates with students, educators, parents, and professionals alike, making him a trusted voice in promoting healthier mindsets and building stronger communities. And so, without further ado, I am bringing to this virtual stage Mr. Leonard Dixon.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, sis.
You are welcome, man. How you doing today?
I'm blessed. Look, the enemy tried to stop me, so I know this about to bless somebody's soul. I'm just grateful to be here.
I am grateful for you to be here. When you sent me that message, I was like, listen, don't worry about it. It's cool. It's close. So listen, I'm back out the way. You do your thing, man. Thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you so much for being a part. And just thank you for being you. Like, it's no pretense. You thank you so much for being a genuine brother. So I really appreciate that. So you do your thing, man.
All right. Thank you. How's everybody doing? Again, it's a pleasure. I want to start off with two quotes. One says, he who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. A man with outward courage dares to die. A man with inward courage dares to live. And those are two quotes by legendary Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. I hope I got that name right. You know, I was practicing, I was reciting it to myself, trying to make sure I had it right. But yeah, let's get started. First and foremost, I want to thank God for being here. As my sis mentioned, I was just getting off of work and I was en route. Normally on a normal day, everything is perfect. I'm talking about I can get from point A to point B. But for some reason, we ran into traffic. It was the most oddest situation. I kept looking at the GPS and it was saying I was going to get to my house right at the time that I was supposed to be on. So I'm like, nope, the devil's a lie. I reached out to some of my brothers. They went to praying for me. And by the grace of God, I am here with y'all tonight. And so I'm just thankful. And I'm a PK. So I always know that the enemy is going to try to stop the purpose that God has in us. And I am grateful to be here tonight, and I don't want to belong to time. But so I like to play Call of Duty. I mean, I'm not the best. My brother probably watching this. He like, bro, don't get up there lying to them folks. So I'm not the best, but I just like getting up there and enjoying community and enjoying time with my people. And so a lot of times I'm the one that's gonna get knocked down. So my brother got to come run over there and save me. But there's a particular part in the game that I like, and we actually talked about it last night, and that's called the revive. And so the purpose of the revive, what normally happens is if you're out, you're trying to get an opposing player. If you get hit first, it's going to look like you're taking a seat. So you're going to be on the ground. And it takes in order to prevent yourself from bleeding out, or in order to prevent yourself from not being able to play the game and to continue the mission, one of your teammates has to run over, come next to you and revive you. And the thing is, they can't revive you from around the corner. They can't revive you from around the way. They have to be right next to you, sitting next to you. Whether they can crawl on the ground, they can be on their belly, they can take a knee, but they have to be in close proximity in order for you to get that revive. And so tonight, I want to revive my brothers. With our time together, we are going to address the bruises. We are going to tend to the bruises. We're going to see our bruises from a different perspective. And again, like I said, my goal is to revive my brothers, because I believe that we have been entrusted to a mission. We have been entrusted with a duty to lead and to guide. And sometimes life tries to get in the way. Am I right? Sometimes life tries to get in the way, it tries to rip our cake, but we ain't gonna stand for that. So hopefully by the end of today, we're gonna find another reason to fight. We're gonna find that hope to endure so that you can be better fathers, so that you can be better sons, so that you can continue to fight the good fight. And most importantly, you can continue to live out the plan, purpose, and will that God has for your life. Now, disclaimer, I can't heal you. I'm just gonna put that out, I'm gonna put that out there. I can't heal you. That's not my job, and I'm not gonna take credit for the Lord's work. But as a beacon of hope, I can assist you on this journey. Now, if you see me glance, it's because I had to take some notes because I didn't want y'all to miss it. Because I'm always like, hey, God, what is it that you want me to say to your people? I got a plan and I know my purpose and everything, but sometimes we get in the way of God's doing when we trying to put our plan into the mix. So I'm like, hey, God, what do you want me to do? And I gotta make sure I write it down because I don't want y'all to miss the blessing that God got for you. And so you asking like, okay, Leonard, why does this matter? As men, we are expected to wear many hats, right? We're expected to wear many hats, many different hats, and it could be protector, it could be provider, it could be disciplinarian, it could be mentor, it could be pastor, it could be man. You're supposed to walk in integrity. We're expected to wear many different hats, and we're expected to be strong while we wear these hats. And we're expected to be strong all while dealing with our own personal issues as well. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma, identity crisis, lack of purpose. Come on now. I know. I can talk about it authentically because I've been there. And even some days now, I'm still having to speak life to myself. I have the word in here, so I have to speak life to myself when life seems like it's crumbling around me. When the pressure seems a little bit too great, I gotta keep speaking life to myself so that I don't allow my emotions to step in the way of my purpose. And I have this saying sometimes that sometimes we do our best to fight and to fight and to fight, and we fight for control that we ultimately end up losing control. I'm gonna say that one more time. Sometimes we fight and we fight and we fight for control that we ultimately end up losing control. Do I have anybody on here that feels like that? Do I have anybody that's been fighting a tough battle in their life and they feel like as much as they fight, they keep losing. As much as they fight and they put their best foot forward, they put their effort forward, they just seem like they're losing. In this fight, we end up sustaining some bruises, and sometimes it cuts deep to the core. Sometimes it hits deep to the core. Sometimes our heart gets affected. And I'm a firm believer in guarding our heart because out of it flows the issues of life. Our heart is a huge influencer in our choices and our decisions. But what happens when we're so used to fighting and we start to let our heart take the hits? Do I got any of my brothers on this call, on this summit tonight that feel that way? And you feeling it right here. As you wrestling for control, who's pouring into you? As you're wrestling for control in your life, who is pouring into you? As an athlete, I'm a former professional athlete, and I remember I was not the most physical kid when it came to being on the field. I was not the most physical kid, but it took one day I said, if it is to be, it's up to me. And I don't want to be one of the few in the number. I want to be one of the mighty in the number. I want to be able to face my opponent because I've conquered myself. I've conquered myself. And if there's no enemy within, then the enemy outside can do no harm. And I know that if I stepped in front of the person that was in front of me, I know that I was going to win that battle. So it took some times where I had to go practice on my own. It took some time where I had to deal with my own bruises. Why don't I like contact? And I knew that there was going to be a day where I was like, you know what? I was going to be that guy. So as I was playing, one of the first things that we would do, we would go through our days where we didn't have pads, but then come hitting day where you got to put the pads on and we separating the men from the boys. And I remember as a running back, we taking the hits. My coach used to tell me, hey, look, 90% of the time you taking hits. Whether you blocking, whether you catching, whether you running the ball, you taking hits, son. So you got to be willing to take a licking and keep ticking, as they used to say. And so in those days, I remember at the end of practice, I would sustain a lot of bruises. Due to the nature of my position, I would accumulate a lot of bruises. And yes, they were painful. They were tough. And some days I would be very sore. I would be limping around and hopping around like, oh my God. But I learned to see my bruises differently. Again, because of the nature of my position, I had to understand that with this position was going to come a lot of bruises. And so, yes, they were painful, but I started to see my bruises as battle scars. And when I started to see them as battle scars, I started to carry them with pride. I started to change the way my bruises actually look. And I realized that they were not given to me. I wasn't just out there taking a beating. I wasn't just out there, I'm just letting people hit me. No, the bruises were not given, they were earned. Every day I was out there on that field, especially them first couple of days, I had to go out and earn my scars. I had to go out and earn my battle scars because I was like, man, I put in too much time for this. I put in way too much time for this, and I wasn't finna let nobody take that away. So for my brothers, some of you, because of the nature of your position as a man, you sustain some bruises. So my question is, how are you viewing your bruises? How are you viewing your bruises? You feel beaten, you feel battered, and some of you feel very weary in this season of your life. Do I have any brothers that feel weary in this season of their life? And you're like, man, I'm just trying to find a better way to live this life, but these bruises, they hurt and they're painful. How are you viewing your bruises? And I had to write this part down because I didn't want to get it wrong. I didn't want none of my people in the medical field to come for me. So I had to go and look at the purpose of a bruise. And the purpose of a bruise, number one, is that it happens due to pain and trauma. And now trauma can be defined as something mental, something emotional, and something physical. Bruises are a response to injury. It's when our body recognizes that there's damage and the healing process has started. You say bruises are proof that we're still alive, that we still got blood running warm in our veins. And the fact that we're still alive means that God is still at work in our lives. It means that he has already began a healing within. He's already began a healing within our heart. Whew, man, he's already begun a healing in our heart. Number two, a bruise sends a signal alerting the body to protect the area. It alerts the body to protect the area. And that tenderness is a way of preventing harm while the body heals itself. And you know, sometimes as men, I think I heard Sis say this, or one of the brothers before me, he said it. Sometimes we do too much. Oh, I got this. We walk around with the S on our chest and the S is faded because we don't allow life to just take us through and take us through the ringer, and we getting beat and we getting bruised and we just don't feel like we need help. I got this. I got the S on my chest. Well, brother, I can't tell whether it's an S or not anymore because it's faded. You need some help. You've been around some kryptonite and you need some help, my brother. And so as we walk around with that S on our chest, I feel like sometimes God would allow us to go through circumstances and situations that expose us to bruises so he can say, son, sit down. You've been weary for so long. You're not doing good to yourself. You're not doing good to the people, the nation, the people that's been assigned to you. I need you to rest in this season so you can heal properly. Knowing me, I wasn't the type to rest as an athlete. I remember my senior year, I had an ankle injury that, man, it plagued me the whole year. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking about, even when I felt like I was healed, I would twist and roll that ankle, and it felt like a shock ran through my body. It's because I did not give that injury time to heal. Now, I know that there's a time and a place for everything. Don't get me wrong. I understand that there's a time to be strong, but then there's also a season to rest in the presence of God so that you can allow him to heal you. Come on, am I talking to somebody? Let me move forward. Number three, bruises change color over time as the body heals. It's a process that cannot and should not be rushed. Number four, bruises, there's something internal. There's something internal, meaning that the skin may not be broken. The skin is not broken, but the pain is real. Y'all, when I wrote this down, I'm telling you, I felt this with everything in me. Brothers, we are in Walmart. We are walking with our kids. we're going to church and we're saying amen. We're speaking to people. We're pouring into people, and people, they see the smile, but thank God I don't look like what I've been through. They see the smile. They see me wear it, and they see me wear it well, thank God. But what they don't see the damage, but I feel the pain. They don't see the damage, but I feel the pain. So brothers, there's people in your life, there's the nation of people that's been assigned to you. They don't see the damage. They don't see the fiery darts that have been assigned to take you out and to distract you from your purpose. They don't see that, but they don't feel your pain. My brothers, there's some hope here. If you feel the bruise, I mean, your system's still working. I'm gonna say that one more time. If you feel the bruise, that means your system's still working. And spiritually, that means that you're not alone, my brothers. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. And I didn't say it's okay to stay in that place, but it's okay to not be okay. You are not alone. I had this coach in college that used to tell me, son, if you're breathing, then you're fighting. So my brothers, are you fighting today? I hope you're breathing, but if you're breathing, are you fighting? You know, there's a man that comes to mind, and this man, he's endured so many bruises. He's endured so much pain, so much criticism. And I feel like I would not do my time period in this summit any justice if I didn't mention him. And his name is Jesus. I remember the pain he was in when he was in the garden. He was praying to the Father about his mission. And I remember that as he was praying, he was in anguish and he was grieved, and he was praying like, Father, this cup, can you please, is there any way for this cup to be removed? And just to help y'all understand, this cup, y'all gotta help me. Look, the enemy tried to stop me from getting here to deliver this message. So y'all gotta bear with me, man. Y'all gotta bear with me. So as he's praying, Father, is there any way for me to save the people without having to go through this unfortunate circumstance, without having to take a drink from this bitter cup? Is there any other way? And the cup symbolizes intense suffering and anguish that he was about to endure. It symbolizes the fate and destiny. It's where, and this one right here, so it's for somebody. It's where the human nature wrestles with the spirit. He prayed so hard and he started to pour sweat, like sweat started to drip from his face, from his head, like great drops of blood falling to the ground. But even in that moment, he said, Father, not my will, but thy will be done. And you know, that lesson taught me that our purpose is often going to be accompanied by pain. I'm gonna say that one more time, that our purpose is often going to be accompanied by pain. And as we are in our moment, fellas, as we are in this moment, maybe you realize that you too in this season have been in agony. I see we got some ladies here too. So this mess, I'm going to be inclusive. I want to include you in this. Have you been in a season where you're experiencing agony and pain? You know you've been called for greater. You know you've been called for more. You know that there's a purpose and there's a plan for your life that God has assigned to you. But in this season, you feel like you're in agony and pain at the thought of just taking this bitter cup, to drinking from this bitter cup. And you're trying to be the best individual. My brothers, you're trying to be the best father. You're trying to be the best man. You're trying to be the best son. You're trying to be the best mentor. You're trying to be the best motivator. You're trying to show up authentically you. You're trying to show up as the best version of you. And ladies, you're doing the same in your position as a mother, as a mom, as a lady. You're doing the same thing. You're trying to show up and be the best version of yourself. But the cup is bitter. How are you handling the pressure? How are you handling the pressure? Look, y'all, I'll smile off at the most inconvenient times, but I have to, because this smile, I don't wear lightly because I don't look like what I've been through. Just like you felt the bruises in this season, these seasons of your life, you're feeling these bruises. Have you been giving out bruises yourself? I'm gonna ask that. I'm gonna go through that whole thing one more time. How are you handling the pressure? And just like you may be feeling bruises in your life, have you been giving out bruises yourself? You're supposed to be pouring out, but you're giving out blows. Like I said before, guard your heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. And if you're not careful for how you steward your heart and the circumstances in your life, you'll begin to bleed. You'll begin to cut. You'll begin to hit people that had nothing to do with what hurt you in your life. And, you know, we start to take on the nature of the things that cause us the greatest pain. If we're not careful, we'll start to take on the nature of the things that cause us the greatest pain. And, you know, I think there's a reason why God, he gives us the assignment without telling us what's in the cup. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, pain is uncomfortable, but it's something we can all resonate with, and it's very uncomfortable. And I don't know about y'all, it's bitter, it's a heavy cup, it's a heavy mantle to carry. And sometimes I'm like, God, I want some juice. I want some juice because it's satisfying. But sometimes your purpose is not about you being satisfied, but it's about people getting what they need as you're pouring from your overflow. Look, I wasn't even gonna go this route. I gotta tell this. So my mom, she's big on green tea. And she's always taught me and my siblings, hey, when you're sick, take some green tea. Even when you're healthy, take some green tea because it has a lot of antioxidants and it's good for your body. And so I remember sometimes I'll drink and I drink it straight. I don't put no sweeteners. I don't sweeten it up. I just drink it straight from the cup. And it's good. I'm good. I'm drinking from the cup. It's still bitter, but I can take it. But then I'll get to the bottom of the cup where the residue is. I'll get to the bottom of the cup where the residue is, and it's extremely bitter. And I just leave it on the counter. I'm like, nope, I'm not taking this. Maybe that's where some of you are right now. You've been given from a place of residue instead of a place of overflow. When you should be pouring back into you, you're feeling those bruises, and there's a weight on your back, and there's damage that has been done to your heart, and you don't really understand what's going on and why you're not responding to life the way you used to respond. You're wondering why you're reacting to things that you should be responding to, and you're cutting and bleeding on people that had nothing to do with what hurt you in the first place, and you're giving from a place of residue instead of a place of overflow. I think there's a reason why God gives us the assignment, but he doesn't tell us what's in the cup. I remember when I was in elementary school, I've always liked to draw. I've always liked to, color and things like that. And I remember there was this one assignment that the teacher was talking to us about, and it was called abstract painting. Didn't know what it was. Still to this day, I'm still trying to figure out what it is. So I was like, let me go. I want to do justice to the people. When I'm speaking, I want to make sure that I'm pouring into people as much as I can pour in. So I went and looked up what abstract meant. And it says the purpose of abstract is to explore emotions, ideas, and experiences. It aims to evoke a response from the viewer, increasing activity in their imagination and prompting personal interpretations. I'm going to read that again for somebody that's trying to write it down. The purpose of abstract is to explore emotions, ideas, and experiences. It aims to evoke a response from the viewer, increasing activity in their imagination and prompting personal interpretations. The challenge is to help you explore your inner world. And, sometimes I've seen videos online and it looked a little abstract. I've seen paintings online. I've seen paintings in person, and it was abstract. And I didn't understand what I was looking at before till I tilted my head a little bit and I saw it from a different perspective. I had to move around the object to get a full understanding from a different angle. I had to turn my head a little bit just to get a different perspective and see that thing from a different angle. You got to be intentional about seeing your life in a different perspective. You can't just sit there and just expect to get it and just sitting there in a one-dimensional view. You're like, okay, well, I guess this is all I need to see. No, you're going to have to tilt your head a little bit. Sometimes you might have to sit down. You might get knocked down and you're waiting for somebody to come revive you, and there's a thorn in your side and you're sitting there like, I gotta go on, but I don't have the strength to go up. You gotta sit there and look at life differently so you can find the courage, and the strength to get up and keep going, because there's somebody that needs your testimony on the other side of that pain. There's somebody that needs you to keep going even though you sustain some bruises. There's somebody that needs you to see your life differently so that they know how they can live their life effectively. And another reason, another purpose for abstract is to create a unique inner language. I was telling a friend of mine this today, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I had to pull over because I was talking to him, and I was telling him the purpose of abstract. One of the purposes of abstract is to help us create a unique inner language. And artists, they use their gift to communicate their ideas in a unique and expressive way. And I've had to learn this as a speaker. How can I speak to the people in my unique inner language? And I'm here to ask y'all, what language are you allowing to be communicated through you? I'm not just talking about your words, but I'm talking about your actions. As you're walking the day-to-day journey, as you're going through life, as you're persevering through your circumstances, what are you communicating through you? What are you allowing to communicate from your heart to those around you, your heart to those that are within your realm of influence, your heart to the people that need you, your heart to the people that are waiting for you to pour into them, to let them know that life beyond their pain is possible, that there is life and purpose beyond their pain. What language are you allowing to be communicated through you? And what is standing in your way of seeing your life from a different perspective? What is standing in your way of seeing your bruises in a different light? I want to challenge y'all today to start changing the way you see your bruises. Yep. I know it's difficult sometimes, because sometimes we want to say, woe is me. Oh, Lord, this is happening to me. Oh, Lord, I don't find myself in traffic. Oh, Lord, I got bills. Oh, Lord, I don't know what's going on. I want you to change the way you see your bruises. I want you to change the way you see your bruises. Because life is not what happens to you. It's all about how you choose to respond. You are who and what you choose to become. My brothers, my sisters, I'm going to say that one more time. Life is not about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to respond. You are who and what you choose to become. So I want to challenge you to change the way you see your bruises. The world is our canvas. Our life is our canvas. My dad, like I say, I'm a PK. My dad used to always say that each day we live, we preach our own eulogy. So our life is our canvas. And as we live in our lives, we're drawing a picture for the world to see. And sometimes there's almost always something beautiful that can be painted on the canvas, but you might have to change the perspective in order to experience it. Say that one more time. There's almost always something beautiful that can be painted on the canvas, but you might have to change your perspective in order to experience it. You might have to change your perspective so that other people can see what you're seeing. Because as a painter and an artist is painting, sometimes we can't see the masterpiece that's at place. Sometimes we don't see the masterpiece that's at place until they step away and they say, here's my life's work. Here's my unique inner language. And that whatever was in their heart has just communicated itself to the people that have the pleasure of viewing that canvas. You might not can change what caused the bruises in your life, but you can change how you view them. You can change how you respond to them. And I don't want to be before y'all long, because look, I can be long-winded. I don't want to be before y'all long. And I wasn't going to do this either, but I call this my Overcomer's Creed. I say it everywhere I go because I believe that how you speak to yourself in life's toughest moments is how you get through life's toughest moments. And so if you can repeat after me, I want you to say, anything I believe, I can achieve. I am good. I am great. I am strong. I am courageous. Change will not break me. Adversity will not defeat me. Why? Because I am an overcomer. I am an overcomer. I am an overcomer, and I will succeed. And I will succeed. One more time, like you mean it. I will succeed. Listen, you are enough. You are amazing. You are loved. You're an overcomer. I want you to stay blessed. I want you to stay encouraged. Remember, you are an overcomer and you will succeed, overcome, and become everything that God has planned and purpose for you to be. That's my time. Thank y'all.
OMG. Leonard. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. That was amazing, man. Like,
Thank you.
I'm trying to type as much. Like, you bless me, man. Like, when I say you bless me for real, like, this is one thing I love about this. As a man, you can speak to a man that a man is going to get it, right? You can say certain things that a man's going to get it. One of the things that stood out was when you're talking about men walking around with the S on their chest, but it's faded. Like, as women, we can't really say that because they like, what? But I mean, it was so many good things you said. I'm like beyond blessed. Like, thank you. Of course, the enemy tried to definitely stop this because this like this right here, like, I'm gonna go back and watch this over and over again. I appreciate you so much, man. I just pray that God continue to open doors for you to get into more schools, get in front of more people, because you indeed have this gift. And you talked about, like, you know, with the smile, and that people see your smile, but they don't know the pain. And even though we may be going through stuff, you still get up and you show up and you still pour out and pour out. And I like how you use that Call of Duty, like the mission and the revive, brothers. I'm like, come on here, Nick. Make sense familiar. Preach this message in common terms that we gonna get. So, man, I appreciate you so much. Tell the people how, again, guys, you can go to the app, and all the information is there. But Lynn, I want you to tell the people how they can get in contact with you, anything you got coming up next, how people can support you, how people can follow you. Let us know.
Oh, yes. So first things first, if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Leonard Dixon Jr. That's LeonardDixonJr. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, it's at LDJ_inspires. And also, if you would just like to reach out and just have a conversation, connect, please don't hesitate to message me or DM me, as they say. I'm always willing to have a conversation. I'm always willing to pour in. So again, if you want to reach out to me on any of those platforms, I would greatly appreciate it.
Man, listen, I love you, Jamie. Like, I'm thankful that the Lord continues to place good people in my life. Thank you so much. You are welcome here. And I didn't tell the other guys this, but I mean it for them too. But you are welcome here anytime I have an event, I have something going on. You are always welcome here. So thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. The devil is defeated. And
yes, amen.
You are here. You came and dropped the
Hallelujah.
mic. Yeah, man. So thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your night, man. And we'll be talking soon. Thank you again so much for being a part.
Thank you. Love you, sis.
Love you too, man. See ya. Whew. Guys, listen. I don't know how y'all feeling out there, but I'm feeling mighty, mighty good. Now, fellas, this is the Beauty Beyond Bruises Summit, men's virtual summit, right? And sometimes men don't always like to be in the chat and, you know, the type, but we need to know that you're here. Like the ladies, we are here. We are supporting y'all. We are rooting y'all on. We are cheering y'all on. And we want to make sure that this is giving you what you need tonight, giving you more than what you need, giving you something that you didn't even know that you needed. But when you heard it, it's yeah, I needed that. And so this next brother, he's like the keynote speaker of the event. Hampton, I met Hampton about 2 years ago, and this man, he's just been a good brother, like somebody who truly supports Simene, like the students, he supports the work, and I'm like forever grateful that God put me into his life. And I first met Hampton because I needed a videographer for an event I was doing in Baltimore, and someone recommended. I reached out to a person. He told me he couldn't do it, but he recommended Hampton to me, and that was the best thing that God could have ever did, was recommend me to Hampton. And then he was telling me a little bit of his story, and I'm like, OMG. And so again, these guys, you know, women, we do a good job too, I believe. You know, you put on the makeup and all the things. Good thing about men is they don't get to put makeup over their face, right? You know, they have to put a smile on. They have to, you know, look happy, even if they're not necessarily happy. women, we can kind of like, make it up. I'm not a makeup girl, but right, you can kind of put stuff over your bruises to seem like you're flawless. But indeed, these guys have went through stuff. You did what now? you what happened? So Hampton was the first man I ever hear talk about being the victim in domestic violence, all while leading and being a principal at a school. And I was like, excuse me. So I don't know what he's gonna say tonight. I just know he got a powerful story. And I'm so thankful that he said, yeah, I'm so thankful that he is able to do it, even though he's out of town. He's working and doing his thing, but he still saw time to come on tonight. And I'm very thankful. And Hampton was the first man. He was the first person I told about this event. And I was like, Hampton, what do you think about the name Beauty? He was like, well, beauty is not gender specific. And I was like, okay, man, thank you. And so I'm going to read his bio. It's short but powerful. So don't sleep on the fact that the bio is kind of short, but he packs a mighty word. He has a mighty testimony, and he's just a great around dude. And so I'm excited to bring him to the stage. So Mr. Hampton E. Conway III. Okay, so it's three of them, right? It's three of y'all, right? Hampton E. Conway III is a speaker, trainer, entrepreneur, and nonprofit director. He has garnered much success and gained valuable insight through his experience as an educator and leader for over 25 years. That's 2 decades plus 5 more, okay? No matter which role he's playing, Hampton's goal is to motivate, uplift, and encourage others to overcome challenges, set ambitious goals, and unleash their full potential. So, without further ado, I don't know if y'all like my drum roll.
Hey. Hey, I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you are here. And it's so good to see your face and talk to you. And thank you so much.
For sure. It's been a minute. And by the way, there's 4 of us. There is a Hampton Conway the 4th. So.
Oh, is it? Okay, it's 4 y'all. I love that.
Yeah, shout out to the littlest Hampton and all my other childrens.
Come on now. Shout out to little Hampton and all the children. Listen, Hampton, I'm going to back out the way, man. Listen, take your time. Say what you're going to share. Let God use you. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to take it out in. And I'm going to be so happy and excited. So thank you again for saying yes. And I'm going to just slide on back and enjoy this ride.
All right. Well, I absolutely appreciate this opportunity. Simene, thank you so much for what you're doing. You already know I support all things Simene and the work that you're doing. And I recognize your heart for people when we first met and talked. And so, I'm happy to support. And I thank you for the opportunity to participate in this. I mean, the brothers that have gone before me, man, some really dope cats, some really dope brothers. And it's amazing to think about like some of the threads and commonalities through all the different talks. And then especially Leonard, who just went ahead of me, said some things that are going to tie right into what I want to talk about. And so I want to start with, just thinking about the theme, beauty beyond the bruises. There was a time in my life where the word beauty was not prominent, if you will. There's a particular time. So because I was living in Maryland I was also, grew up in Maryland, lived in Pittsburgh for a while. And so over the span of several years, I would drive between Maryland and Pennsylvania, and I would drive the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And I can recall there being a time where I was on the Turnpike, and there's a particular area on the Turnpike on this route where you're in the mountains, and especially when you're going east on the Turnpike back to Maryland, you're on the high side of the mountain. There's a lane that's way down here. There's another lane that's really, really up high. And I can recall a time where like just the situations and circumstances in my life and what I was going through, I contemplated several times while making that drive. Like I would think to myself, if I just turn this wheel really, really hard, I could end it all. It could just all be over. And I had that thought many, many, many times because of the just the darkness, the darkness I was in from the depression and the anxiety and the trauma of being in an abusive marriage. And I'm not going to get deep into that because it's just a couple points I want to make that I think can apply to anyone who's just going through tough times, going through whether it be domestic violence, whether it be addiction, whatever it may be, people that can relate to just being in a dark place and wanting to end it all. I had that thought so many times. And because it was so dark, I didn't even recognize the beauty. Okay, and we're talking about beauty beyond the bruises. I didn't even recognize the beauty that was all around me. And so once, so years later, when I was out of that particular situation, and I distinctly remember making the same drive on the same route, on the same part of the turnpike, on the high side of that mountain, sunny day, no clouds in the sky. And because I was so high, you could just see for miles. And it was just green and lush. And the sky was blue. And it was just fantastic. The scene, the sight was so beautiful. And it hit me so hard that I had driven this route so many times. And that this is the same route that I thought would be a good place to end my life because I was so high up, that now when I'm driving this route, I can see the beauty that was all around me. On the same route, I could see this beauty that I couldn't see before because of the darkness that I was in. And it was just such an overwhelming experience at that moment. And so I just, this is just my first point that I want to make is for anybody, whatever you're going through, whatever you might be going through or have gone through, I just want people to know that there is beauty beyond. There's beauty beyond. There's beauty beyond the trauma. There's beauty beyond the addiction. There's beauty beyond the bruises. I just want to encourage you just to hold on long enough. I am so glad. And it's not like I didn't have motivations to stay alive. And I really say, like, my kids, my love for my children is one of the things that did keep me here. And I'm so glad that I held on long enough to get to the point that now I can drive that route and I can admire it and experience it for the beauty that it is. And so not only is there beauty all around you, no matter how dark a place you're in, no matter is there beauty all around you, no matter is there beauty beyond your situation and circumstance, there's also beauty inside you. And so then I'm gonna come back around to that while I make this second point. Have you ever taken a piece of tape or a sticker off of something? You remove the tape or the sticker from a surface, and even though the sticker has been removed or the tape has been removed, there's still residue left. And it was interesting. Leonard talked about residue as well, but in a different way. But yeah, sometimes, you take a sticker or a piece of tape off and it still leaves some sticky stuff behind. There's still some residue left behind. And that is very much what it's like when you've gone through something, when you've gone through a trial, when you've gone through trauma, there's often residue left behind. So even for me, even once I finally, after 14 years, escaped my dark time, left the marriage, 14-year marriage that, where I was a victim of physical, emotional, verbal, psychological abuse. There was still a lot of residue left, even though I was removed from the situation, right? Even though the sticker was gone, there was still some sticky stuff that was left behind. And, one of the things that I quickly realized that even though I was out of the situation, until the residue is gone, it actually can make more mess, right? That sticky stuff can cause, lint can get on it, and, other things can get stuck to it. And it can actually, the residue from what was removed can actually create even more of a mess. And I learned very quickly too, that the residue is not going to go away on its own. Sometimes, when you remove that sticker and whatever that adhesive is, you got to get special chemicals and put on that thing and scrub it out. Or you might have to get a blade, scrape that joint, just put some elbow grease into it, get it out. It's not going away by itself. And you can ignore it if you want to, but it's going to take work to actually get it up. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think about it, but it kept, the residue kept popping up over and over and over again in different ways of my life, in my relationships, in my work. There was still things that would trigger me and, cause me to realize oh man, I need to deal with some of this, and so I realized, hey, if I really want to deal with this, if I really want to get better, if I really want to, be who God has called me to be, yeah, I made the great step of getting out of a horrible situation, but I still need to work on some things. And I'm saying to this day, I still need to work on some things. And what does that look like? It's June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so, there's a lot of talk about, what men can do. And Simene gave some stats about, what men do experience. And so therapy, I will absolutely say, is one of the things that has helped me over the years. And therapy was a tough, long journey. And that's work to really, really take advantage of therapy. My therapist told me that because I had suppressed so much for so long, and a matter of fact, I had suppressed so much that I'd literally forgotten a lot of things. And that's a whole nother story too. But I had literally forgotten a lot of stuff. But the therapist was like, Hampton, we're going to have to go into the basement. That was her analogy for us. We're going to have to go into the basement and deal with that stuff before you can actually heal and get better. And I'm like, I don't want to go down there. And I'm like, the boogeyman's down there. I don't want to deal with the boogeyman in the basement. That's why I suppressed it all. So I suppressed all this, and now you want me to pull it up, but again, it's work. You got to work. You got to do the work if you want to get better. So between therapy and brothers, some of the other brothers that talked about this too, your circle is a huge part of being able to do the work and deal with the residue. The people you have around you, what you do to stimulate and support your mind, meditation, prayer, and I used to get so frustrated when things would happen that would remind me that I'm not as over things as I want to be or thought I should be. But it's human, right? We're human, right? This stuff doesn't just happen overnight. But I would get so frustrated, and I would even get down on myself because I realized, I'm like, man, why am I still struggling with this or this or this? I should be over this by now. I should be better by now. I should be, I wanted to be 100% completely healed of everything. And I would just get so frustrated that I wasn't. And then I had to change my perspective. And so this is the last, the second point, the last point I want to make with respect to this is that you should allow the residue to help create a better you. Say that one more time. You should allow the residue to help create a better you. What do I mean by that? Well, God created us. Okay. Leonard the PK was on here before, and he was getting into some of it, but God created us. And when God created us, he created us in his image and his likeness. So that means God wasn't going to create no trash. Okay. But and the word talks about how we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are his handiwork. We are God's craftsmanship. But when he first created us, he didn't just stop at creating us. Okay. As we continue to live our lives, he is also shaping us. He continues to mold us and make us into the people that he originally designed us to be. When God created us, he had the end in mind. He could see us in the future. He could see us at our fullest potential. He could see us exercising our potential and unleashing our potential and doing all the things that he originally created us to be. Our problem is we don't see it or we don't believe it. But God has created us for a specific purpose. And not only did he create us, but he continues to shape us and mold us. And so working through that residue, doing the work of learning more about ourselves, working on our insecurities, our insufficiencies, our trauma, doing the work of, overcoming and learning through our trials is God's way of beautifying us. Okay? The word talks about in Jeremiah, God gave Jeremiah a word to take back to the people. And he had Jeremiah, I think it's Jeremiah 18, and he had Jeremiah go down and he said, I want you to go see this potter. And he had Jeremiah watch the potter go through the whole pottery process. And he was basically telling Jeremiah, look, you see what that potter's doing? That's exactly how I do y'all. Go tell the people that I'm the potter and they are the clay. And if you know anything about pottery, and I had to research it because pottery wasn't my thing. But if you know anything about pottery, that is a serious process where it gets shaped and molded and imperfections have to get addressed and impurities have to be taken out, and it even has to go into the fire, and then it has to go through all these different things. And God's saying, hey, I'm the potter, you're the clay. It's not going to always be easy. It's not always going to be peaches and cream. Okay. But if you allow me to shape you and mold you, I am beautifying you. Okay. Despite whatever you've gone through, despite all the trials, the tribulations, the trauma, the persecution, God can take all of that and just continue to shape you and mold you into exactly who he originally and intently designed you to be. So that's what I mean by allowing the residue, because we all got residue. I don't care who you are. All of us has been through something that has left a mark on our psyche, left a mark on our heart, left a mark on our emotions. And we've all got stuff we've got to get over, stuff that we've got to work through. And then as soon as you get over one thing, you realize, dang, there's something else I got to work on. And God can take all of that And he will take all of that, and he does take all of that and uses that to make you better. Allow your residue to create a better you so that you can not only see the beauty that's all around you, but also the beauty that is inside you. So those are the two things I really want to stick out. If you're going through something and you're in a dark place, hold on, because the beauty is so beautiful. When you get to see it, it's going to be overwhelming. And when you start to learn about who you are and how much God loves you and what he created you to be, it's overwhelming. It's beautifully overwhelming. And allow the things that you've gone through to make you better. Allow the residue that's still left from the things that you've gone through. Put the work in now. It ain't gonna be easy. Put the work in. Do what you got to do. Okay? But allow that residue to make a better you. And I want to just end with what I consider to be my life verse. And this is still in line with that potter and clay analogy. So Paul also uses this clay pot analogy in 2 Corinthians. So 2 Corinthians 4, 7 through 10, this is the NIV version. Paul says, but we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God, not from us. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body. He's using the analogy of the us as being the vessel, us as being that clay pot. And inside that clay pot, we carry around in our body the death of Jesus so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. What's the point he's making with this analogy with this pot and this pot going through all these different things? All of you know that if you take any ceramic, pottery, and if you take it and you slam it down against the ground, it's going to break. If you put too much pressure on it, it's going to crush under the pressure. Okay? But Paul here is saying we don't get crushed under the pressure. We don't break, okay, when we're cast down and thrown around. Well, wait, that doesn't make sense. Well, the reason why we can be hard pressed on every side but not crushed, the reason why we can be perplexed but not in despair, the reason why we can be persecuted and not abandoned, and the reason why we can be struck down and not destroyed is because of who we have inside of us. It's who's inside of us. It's the God in us that is what's making us strong and able to withstand all of the pressure, all of the persecution, all of the trauma, all of the trials. It ain't us. It's the God inside us. It's the power of Jesus Christ inside of you that allows you to endure, that allows you to persevere, that allows you to get to the point where you can see the beauty beyond the bruises. Thanks.
Anna, you really, I was trying to get in my phone and all the things. Oh my gosh, man. Hampton, you got to start speaking more, man, because you are it's like, it's word, it's encouragement, it's truth, it's all those things. And you just have that demeanor where people just listen to you because you have a very even tone. I'm like, oh my God, it's so many things you said, like, oh my gosh. Like,
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. And I think one of the things that really stuck out to me is when you said allow the residue to create a better you. I'm like, good gracious almighty. And I know you shared about, sometimes you get frustrated, and that really resonated with me. It's like I get frustrated when things that I thought I should be better, or not making this mistake, or not tripping over the same thing. And it's like, you know what? I'm on that potter's wheel, Lord. Put me back on the potter's wheel, because I need another cycle or a couple cycles through, because this ain't going the way I think. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Ham. Thank you, one, for just and indeed, you really do support me, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for taking out time, even though you was on travel for work. Thank you for coming. Your baby girl was in here. She said, "That's my dad." She was, yeah, she was proud of her dad. So we had a lot of comments in the chat box besides just me. So India said, "Thank you for the encouragement, on time word for me." And so, I think, and you can speak this because you're a man, but I believe that when we speak life into the men, it also blesses us as women. Like, it's a man summit, but we are getting just as much from this as a man would. And so I want to say thank you. So Hampton, listen, Hampton does all the wonderful things. I'm gonna let Hampton tell all the things he does. If he don't tell you, I'm gonna tell you, but he's an amazing photographer and videographer. He's a great speaker. So Hampton, let everybody know how they can follow you, your business, how they can get in contact with you, all the things that you do, man.
Oh, yeah. So the best and easiest way is just my name, HamptonConway.com. And that can get you to all the things, all the ventures, including one I started recently called Freedom and Transformation Fellowship, which is, I call it FAT Fellowship for short.
Yeah.
But FAT stands for Freedom and Transformation. So, we're just really, Simene, I'm like you. I just want to, God has put people on our hearts, and to be able to just encourage, support, and like I said, I'm invested. I'm invested in you.
Yes, you are.
And I'm going to continue to. And but I love supporting you. I love the work you're doing. And yeah, you can support me. I think I'm Hampton Conway on Facebook. Instagram is Hampton Conway, so you can get at me. And like the last brother said, like, whether it be on a professional capacity, you want to get at me, but even if you're somebody who is dealing with domestic violence, man or woman, I got resources for you that I can direct you to people. I can talk to you, and so I definitely want to plug that for people that are in it. And if you're a survivor, because even when you're a survivor and you're out of it, it still ain't over, right? It's still stuff that people are dealing with and trying to go through. So yeah, you can DM me on a personal level or a professional level. And I just appreciate the opportunity.
Hampton, thank you so much. I love you, man. Bless you. Bless your travels out there to your family. I love your dad. I love your husband. He's a nice brother. Like, God bless you guys. Hampton, thank you so much. Anytime, I've invited you, several. So anytime you want to come on, you got a message, you already know. We can hit the live button and we can make it go. So thank you so much. I love you, man. And we'll talk soon. Thank you again.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Wow. So guys, listen here. Ladies and gentlemen, listen here. This is the conclusion of this matter for tonight. But it's not the conclusion of this matter for life, right? It's the conclusion of the matter for tonight, but not for life. You heard men talking to other men. You heard men talking about the work that they have done to get to where they are. You heard men talking about, listen, it looks good, but you don't know the pain I carry. You don't know what I had to experience. When you hear people say, I don't look like what I've been through, you have like four men that tell you, listen, I've overcame X, Y, Z, and you see them still standing, you see them still going, you see them still encouraging, you see them still sharing, you see them still talking about the goodness of God. They still telling you to affirm yourself and speak life and speak this word. Like, you see that. So you have examples. You have Leonard, you have Hampton, who said, personally, you can reach out to me Stephen has that Men on the Rise group. You can reach out to him. Keith, you can reach out to these men. So maybe you're a type of guy that's like, man, I don't really have nobody in my circle, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't really want anybody in my business, and everybody think I'm, you know, I'm superhero, and, you know, I got it going on, and I running this and running that, but you really need a space, a courageous place to go and talk to another brother. Maybe you like, I don't know them, and that's probably the best ones. Like, my best sessions have been with my therapist that I don't personally know, but it's a place where I can just come out and pour out and say, listen, this is what I got going on, right? And so thank all Hampton, thank you, Keith, thank you, Leonard, thank you, and Stephen, thank you so much. I shared with you guys just a couple of the stats early, and I'm not going to go through all the depressing stats, because at the end of the day, God is still a keeper. At the end of the day, God can still lift you. At the end of the day, how Hampton talked about, we press down and all these things from side to side, but guess what? God is still keeping us, right? God is still keeping us. So the message, if the message does not, if it has not resonated with you tonight, no matter what you're going through, right? No matter what situation you in, there's beauty at the other end of that. And it may be beauty at the other end of this, and you might come up with another obstacle, but it's going to be beauty at the end of that one too. And so I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want you to share this, right? Like, to get an all men's panel together with amazing men, integral men, good men. They all said they're not perfect men, but they're good men. They're striving. They're doing right by their families. They're doing right by their wives, doing right by their children. They're doing right by their lives. Like, good men. Share this out so more people can be blessed by it. Share it out with the men that you know. Because sometimes as women, you know, and I know for me, with my oldest brother, my mom always said we just alike, so we bump heads a lot, right? Right. Sometimes I just be like, you know, I don't know, yapping or something, and maybe it don't come across as I want it to come across, but listening to another brother share, he probably can get more out of this than I could say, you know, for 2 hours, right? So please share this with people, and not a sharing where, hey, I'm trying to get you, or yeah, this man was on night talking about the work he did, or oh yeah, this man, you know, he went to therapy. No. Is these men are encouraging and uplifting other brothers, and I think you may find this helpful, right? And it's always the approach, it's always a perspective, it's always, you know, how we can come at somebody and something. So please just make sure that you share this out with people, so people can be blessed. And again, we have the app, so you can go to the app. This is the app. You go to the app, all of their information is there. Their bios are there. You can click on their links for their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, their websites. You can go there, HamptonConway.com. You can go to his website. Stephen is StephenLonely.com. You can go to his website. If you want to get in contact with Simene, you go to my website, SimeneWalk.com. But go download that. For those of you who want to enter in a chance to win a free anthology spot, here is the survey. I would love to get your feedback, because I'll be doing more virtual events. The next one we're going to do is going to be the education edition. That's going to be August 4th, Monday, August 4th. And so if you're an educator, you're a leader, you're a principal, we want to get you on to share that. Last year we did Leading Champions Educational Summit. And so this year, this whole Beauty Beyond the Bruises, this is just something that I'm going to continue to grow and build out. And so if you want to be a part, please send me your information. If you want to win a free chance in an anthology spot I'm doing, it's called The Stones Get Lighter, Navigating Life When Things Get Heavy and Hard. Navigating life when things get heavy and hard. And yeah, so please share us out with your followers. Yesterday, and this is the last thing I'm gonna share before I go. Yesterday, well, I know I said it about 15 times. I might have about 15 other things to tell you guys. But yesterday at church, I watched it online, but in the Gathering Place, DC, with Pastor JJ Harrison and Pastor Trina Harrison, they had a bishop up there who specializes in mental health, but he's also a bishop. And he broke that thing down about the mind of a man. When I say it blessed me so much, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put the link here. But I really encourage you guys to go and watch it. It will bless you. And it was not just for men, because this is the thing. When men get healed and whole, the family going to get healed and whole, right? As these guys were talking to men, as women, we were recipients of this too. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so thankful. Like, only God could put together and orchestrate, you know, people coming together like that, right? I don't take this lightly. You know, they'll thank me, but I don't take it lightly that God will allow me and people will say yes to coming and being a part of what I'm doing, right? And some of you who have been following me for a while know I don't mind opening my platform to people when I know God is saying, hey, provide this space for them. I already tell you guys this. I remember when the first time I flew was in August of 2016 when I moved to Maryland. I was so afraid based on what other people was telling me about flying and all the things, right? So I never did it. And when I took my first trip, it was this Caucasian man started talking about, I flew out of Dallas. And so you had to catch the train and all that. And so he just started talking to me when we got to the train. I was like, yeah, this is my first time flying. I'm a little nervous and scared. He's like, don't worry. It's going to be good. He was just talking to me, telling me it's okay. By the time we were flying Southwest, and you know, with Southwest, you don't have assigned seats. And so by the time I boarded, there was an empty space between him and the other man. I went and sat right in the middle of him. This older guy taught me step by step through what was going to happen with the plane, and I was no longer scared. And I was like, thank you, Lord. Why am I saying that to some of you? Because sometimes your greatest fear, there is what you're afraid of today, you'll be looking back and saying, what took me so long to face that tomorrow? What you may be afraid of today, you're going to look back and say, what took me so long to face it? Some of you are afraid to go talk to somebody because you feel like you don't want to put your business in the street, right? Well, counselors and therapists, licensed trained people, right? They are licensed. They're not going to go and tell your business to other people. That's why it's good when you talk to somebody who don't even know you, know your family, know what you're going through, because they're not going to be biased to you. They're not going to just tell you something, you know what I'm saying? They're going to tell you one thing on the phone, but they ain't going to talk to your brother or your sister or your cousin or your aunt and your mama and tell them something totally different. No. It don't work like that, right? They give you practical things to help you deal with the things. And Hampton talk about the basement. Some of us have suppressed so many things because it's too painful to remember. But when you go into the basement, go into the things that hurt you, go into the compartments that you done kind of locked up, because this is the thing. We may have locked it up, but it's still there and it's still going to show up, right? You may not be dealing with it, but it is dealing with you, and it's going to come out one way or the other. So sometimes we think we done kind of, push it down, and I don't really remember all the details, but be free in 2025, be free in 2025. But I said all that about the plane. I went to an event that was called, Generals of Deliverance, and there were many pastors and deliverance ministers that I have followed for a while, and I've shared this story many times. But I wanted to take a picture with one of the ministers, and he was like, "Oh, well, just wait till my wife come back. I don't really I don't really be taking pictures with females." And I get it. At first, I was offended, but in 2025, honey, I understand now why that man said that. Thank God for his integrity. His name is Apostle Ivory Hopkins. He's out of Delaware. He does a lot with deliverance. So praise God for integral ministers, right? But I felt some kind of way that day, right? And I remember I went and sat back in the car, in the rental car that I had. And the Lord says to me, he says, "You are the platform. Let me build you. You are the platform. Let me build you." I will never forget that. And so every time I may get discouraged, every time I feel like, oh my God, this is not going as far, or it's not moving as fast as I needed to go, I remember what God says: "You are the platform. Let me build you." See, some of us are trying to build things, but God is trying to build us. We're trying to build businesses, but God is trying to build us. We're trying to build families, but God is trying to build us. Come on now, type that in the chat box if you're still with me. God is building me. God is trying to build me. He's trying to build my character. Because what good would it be for me to get a spouse and then I ruin it because I ain't well? What good is it for me to have had 4 or 5 children by now, but I'm not even my best version myself, right? What good is it for us to want to have all of this money and all of these things, but we're not good stewards? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let God build you. You are the platform. And so I don't take it lightly when God allows me to partner with people and people say yes, whether it's 6 people, 4 people, 10 people, 20 people. When you start adding up all the people that you have partnered with and worked with, and God is allowed to come pour into your life, you look back and say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, that you would connect me with a Keith Gamble. Thank you, Lord, that you would connect me with a Stephen Loney. Thank you, Lord, that you would connect me with a Hampton Conway III. Thank you, Lord, for connecting me with a Leonard Dixon Jr., right? Thank you, Lord, for the people that he's connected us with. And I there are some people talk about network, and I know one guy, he talks, your network is your net worth, right? Your network is your net worth. Who are you around? And Hampton talked about it and Leonard talked about it. Community, right? Getting around the right people. Who are the people in your life that can come and speak life into you? Who are the people that can actually come and check you? And that's why I said only men can get with a man the way they can do. Like men know when men BSing, right? Women, we know too, but you know, me and y'all know more. We know when you ain't really stepping up to the plate and you can do more. Men can talk that talk to you and you ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying? You might feel some kind of way, but it's a man, as another man checking another man, right? So I know y'all do that thing differently. And the good thing about being a mature man in 2025, you ain't gotta go pull no gun out on nobody. You ain't trying to fight nobody. You ain't gotta go stab nobody. My partners ain't making me take 25 to life, right? To show that I'm so cool. My cousin posted this one day. He was like, he don't understand men who would take 25 to life for their homeboys, but won't go get a 9 to 5 for their children and their family. What sense does it make for a male, and I wouldn't even say a man, because these are like, this is a little boy mentality. What sense does it make that I'm gonna go take 20 years, 15 years, 5 years, I'm gonna go take a bid for my homeboys or for my namesake, but I won't go get a 9 to 5, I won't get a job, I won't do something that's going to be beneficial for to sustain my family. Y'all know when people go to prison, that is not just a sentence on the person that's in prison, that's everybody that's connected to them. And I can go to that whole thing about D'Amico when he was in prison. That was not just a sentence for him. That was a sentence for everybody connected to him. And that was a hard pill to swallow. And then you don't make it out alive. It's like, oh my gosh. Let God build you. All of you guys have your own respected platform. All of you guys have your own calling that God has for you. Let God rebuild you. I love you guys tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming on and joining us. Share this out again. Like straight up legit text it to somebody. Copy the link. Text it to your friends. I'm going to text it to my brother. You probably be like, why you send this to me? But I'm going to text it to three males in my family. And I want you to do the same thing. Text it to 3 men that you love. 3 men that you want to see get better and better and better. And if they already doing great, all this is going to give them more fuel, more energy, more encouragement to keep doing the things that they're doing, because everybody's not in a bad place, right? Everybody may have walked through their season, because the Bible says after you suffered a while, then I will establish you, I will strengthen you. So some people are in their establishing and strengthening season now, right? Well, other people may not quite be there. And so share this out with 3 to 7 people that you know. Text them the direct link and say, hey, listen, this was such a great summit. I love men. You know, Leonard said I could be long-winded, honey. Leonard, I could be long-winded too. But these men came, they got to the point, they said what they need to say, and I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. So I love you guys tonight. Be blessed in Jesus' name. Do the survey, share this out. If you want to be a part of the next summit, just reach out to me. I love you guys. Have a great night. Peace.